you should take that one because that was the one you picked up.
No. Like helping so much. I'm like, yeah.
You're filming. You're filming.
I'm filming. Lot. The lot. Yay! Hi. So the last thing you saw was me having dinner with my good friend Jelly. To be honest, I might delete this if I don't want to talk about it, but I've been having like this strong urge that I want to talk about it, especially knowing that the way that my videos are being edited right now by me. Part of me wants to just talk about it and to get it out. If I decide I don't want to put this in the video, I can just delete it. And then if I do, I feel like a lot of time will have passed before I'm able to even post this. So, okay. How do I even start this? A few things. This video could be very, very triggering. This is a sensitive topic. This is something I am deciding to share with people because I do think for personal reasons and for other, like looking out for other people. Sorry, my brain is gonna be everywhere. Oh shit. Editing me is not gonna like this. I'm editing me. Me is editing right now. It's not going to be perfect. With that said, I anticipate that people will be very nice. I imagine some people might put their foot in their mouth and give me some unwanted opinions maybe. I don't know. I'm just trying to foresee. I also am expecting it to maybe people don't want to watch it, and I don't know, trying to set my own expectations. You know, this is a lot. This is 8 months worth of footage that I went through. Still think there might be some footage that got lost in the way. This is a collection of 8 months worth of every time I felt scared, sad, had an update, wanted to get something off my mind that had to do with my assault. I originally wanted to keep a lot of my like ums and long pauses in the video, but the video is so long. The video is so long and I'm so sorry. So yeah, there's a lot of moments where maybe I choke up more, but I'm just, you can't see it. I needed to show editing me and say hello and pop in to give some disclaimers and to do one really hard thing, which is tell kind of the story of it, because I went through all this footage and I never even like out plainly told you exactly what happened. First, more disclaimers. If you're going to be really triggered by this, please do not watch it. One of those things too that I don't even know if YouTube is going to push this out to people or if people are going to watch it because it's a sensitive topic anyways. If you are a kid, I always put like there's a toggle you can put on your YouTube like this is not for kids. Yeah. Thank you. What else? I don't nearly talk about all the things that come up in this whole topic of being assaulted, specifically in Japan as a foreigner. There's a million things you could talk about with this. You're more than welcome to talk about it in my comments. I can conversate with you too. If you're disrespectful, I probably will delete it. I don't really do hate comments. If someone's rude, I just delete it, like it's my channel. I mainly was just telling my story and talking about my things. I actually got a random comment on a video just the other day where someone mentioned like, oh, how do you feel about the way that Japan handles assault cases? And I was like, boy, little do you know. 1. 2, I had no preconceived knowledge about this subject, which actually I think just leads into me telling you my story now. But I had no preconceived knowledge about how the Japan police and like the system around how to handle this situation goes. So I did not know anything until it actually happened to me. I think it's important to talk about this before moving on in like the chronological order to which my videos are being recorded or have been recorded. If you follow me on just other social media, you would have never known that this happened to me. I still lived my life. I moved on from it in the sense of like I had to keep living life. So I moved on in that sense, and I do pick up the phone and, you know, have recorded myself feeling and living and dealing with this situation, but at the same time I didn't record every single thought that went through my brain. I guess I'm going to tell you the story of what happened. I'm not going to tell you every single little detail, I don't believe. 1, because I can't even remember every single detail anymore. 2, I don't want to. One of my biggest takeaways, which you'll see me complain about in this video as I find it out for myself, is that the police situation, it just was a lot of asking me the exact same questions over and over and over again and having to tell this story a billion times in the most annoying of details. So for that reason, I'm also kind of burnt out about telling people the story. I've already tried to say the story, but I'm realizing that I'm trying to add a lot of prefaces, like I'm trying to explain myself, but so this might come out a little cut and dry. Yeah. So I was walking home. I was on a street that I always walk on. There's lights down it. People walk down it. It's not an alleyway. Cars go down it. I currently now avoid it. Luckily, I'm able to. There's another path I can take. But about 10:30, a little bit before 10:30, describe it as a person tackled me. To even more accurately say, the man picked me up from behind, wrapped his arms around me, and threw me on the ground. I was in the air for a moment, and then suddenly I was on the ground, hit pretty hard, but at the same time, I don't really understand the physics of it, and even when I explain this story to the police, I'm like, I can show you how they did it, but I always think about to this day, I'm like, I don't understand why they didn't, like, push me forward, but they pulled me backwards. They were holding me, I haven't had to do this in forever. They were holding me with their left arm, and they were like partially under me, and then with their other hand they were trying to do things to me. They like ripped my dress, pulled it up, started to do things. I obviously was screaming. My other arm was trying to peel him off. My right hand was trying to peel his fingers backwards, so I was like peeling his fingers backwards and was like screaming in pain, but struggling as well, to which we were on like a concrete street. And my dress from me like doing this was all ripped up in the back, and like bloody from the way I was like moving on the ground. Was trying to kick him, to which he was trying to use to his advantage and like pull my legs out and etc. He was able to touch me in inappropriate places. I won't get into more details than that, but in me pulling his fingers backwards and him yelling and being like ow 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 whatever, was able to kind of like, I was starting to like roll the other way, you know, in my struggle to try and figure out a way to get out of this situation, yelling, etc. I was rolling the opposite way from him, and he let go and ran away. I got up and just stared at him, took an internal log of what he looked like, and he turned the corner and ran away. Picked up my phone that like was thrown across. I tried to call the police. I didn't get an answer. I started to cry, and of course, in that moment, like 2 other people appeared on the road. To which I was in such shock, I didn't say anything. One woman walked in the same direction that the man went, and then one man was walking towards me. They both kind of looked at me, but just continued walking. I tried to call again. I didn't get an answer. I'm instinctively at this point walking towards the police station because I knew where one was. It actually wasn't very far from me at all. And I walk there, there's no one inside, and there's a phone you can call. And I call the number. I start obviously crying more at this point, telling them what happened. They're like, hold on, we'll be there. They come, they're like, where'd this happen? I was like, just the street right over there. And they were like, can you show us? We all walk over. It was me and 2 men. The moment a car pulls up, a police car, and it has a woman in it and I believe 2 other men. Like immediately they're like, okay, what happened? And I was like starting to talk. Again, preface. This is a preface for, actually, I don't really say this in the video, but a lot of these conversations, or actually all these conversations I'm having, are in Japanese. I started telling the story in my crying, distressed state in my broken Japanese. They were like, no, like act it out. And I was like, what? And 2 of the men, the very first 2 men that I met, they're like, okay, like I'm you and he is him. What happened? I was like, okay. So to tell them step by step what happened, and the woman took pictures. I had to be in them pictures, and I had to point every time. Like, it was like a stop motion basically. It was like stop motion 1, point. Like, okay, next, what happened after that? And then I'd move their arms to like what happened, and they're like, okay, stop, point at it, and then take a picture. And so immediately relived it in that way. In that timing, oh man, like a handful of people were going on this road, because you know it's lit up, there's people there. One of them stopped. It was a foreign man who lived there, and he was on his bike, and he stopped to me and he's like, is everything okay? And I bluntly was like, yeah, I was just assaulted, and they're making me tell the story. I'm okay though. In between me crying, and he's like, you got it? And I was like, yeah. He said something to the lady taking the pictures in Japanese, and the lady was like, yeah, she's good, like we understand her. And he's like, okay. We finish up. The lady was like, okay, we're gonna see you back at the station. The guy's gonna take you home to change and then bring you to the station. They drove me to my home, told me to put all my stuff into a bag. I do that, proceed to be at this station for 10 hours. So I did not go to sleep, and I did not go to school the next day. Yeah, but 10 hours I was in the station nonstop. No food, no water. just with all these people telling the story a million times. I was there. I immediately get there and meet a whole bunch of slew of other people. I go into this room with this lady, a different lady, and she tells me, she's like, this is what you're wearing? And I was like, no, I was wearing the thing in the bag. I'm like, do you want it? And she was like, oh, no, we need to take pictures of you. Can you put it back on? And I was like, okay, sure, I'll put it back on. So I put the outfit back on. They take pictures of me. This is when I noticed that my shoulder's like bleeding. I hadn't noticed before. Also, this is my little, I have a little scar here from it and then like a big patch scar right there. Yeah, and she was like, oh my god, you're bleeding. And I was like, oh, I am bleeding. I was like, look at that. Oh, my dress is all ripped up right here. I didn't know that. And she's like, oh my god, are you okay? And I was like, yeah. I'm like, I'm sure adrenaline right now is making me not feel it. For future context, it was fine. It like, my shoulder itself hurt for like 2 weeks or something, and now I have a scar, like I said. I changed back into my clothes, this room, this chair, for many hours where I told the story. Once with everyone there, again with like 3 people, again with a translator who came, again with a man who wanted to write it down, again just me and the person who drew the criminal's face. Black in my memory, so apologies, but from the next recollection I can tell you is then they were like, okay, we're gonna take you to the hospital, and I was like, I don't want to go to the hospital. And they're like, no, you have to. It's procedure. And I was like, okay. So we go to the hospital. I tell this story in this collection of videos, but they check my blood pressure. You can know more context in a minute. Doctor, I'm gonna add, is quite rude. And I immediately asked him in the moment. I was like, hey, can I have a doctor's note for school? And he was like, no. And I was like, why not? And he was like, you're fine. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to school though tomorrow. And he's like, but you're fine. And I was like, okay, never mind. And then I go to the counter and they tell me I need to pay $200. And I was like, what? To this day, I'm very sad about that because it made me feel like I had just paid for that to happen to me. But they forced me to pay it, and I was like, can I get this money back? And they were like, you can find that out later if you can or not. Extra future notice as well. No, I will not get paid back for that. The only way was if the doctor had given me a doctor's note, which even more extra context, which this is in the missing files if I can't find any video from these days, and if I do, it's gonna be randomly found. Later on, the police are like, where's your doctor's note? And I was like, I never got one. And they were like, why? And I was like, the doctor said no. They're like, that's weird, you need to go get one. And so I had to schedule a free day that I wasn't working and didn't have school to go to that same doctor, to which again he told me no. And to this day I don't really know why. I have speculations and thoughts and consulting friends of like, why the F will he not give me a doctor's note? But I never got one, and apparently that is needed to prove that it even happened to me on that night. And then after the doctor visit, at this point, it's now been 10 hours. I do remember that's when like it was ending, and they were like, okay, we'll take you home now. They take me home. On the way on this part of the trip is when I call my friend. I knew was getting off of work at that time because she works a late job, and I was like, hey, so sorry to throw this on you. Can you come over? And I knew that for her it wouldn't be too hard for her to travel to me instead of going home, so she was sweet enough to come home with me. So she arrived pretty much the same time I arrived from the hospital, and she stayed the night with me. So that is the night of story. The next video clips will be pretty much in order and give you more details. Sorry this took me so long to get out of my mouth, but I'm pretty far removed from it now. It's again January 11th, so that happened on May 28th. My coworkers scared me and I screamed, but it wasn't a normal scream. Like, guys, I got really scared, and there were customers there. Like, I was right next to the customers because I went around to the other side to grab the drinks to hand to the other person. And so they scared me. I screamed. A lot of people were like, whoa, bitch. And I was like, haha, like, you just scared me. And then a few of them were like, oh, your scream scared me. And I was like, haha. And I walked away and I walked into the back and I started to have a panic attack, which I've had before. I know what they're like. And it was a mini one, like it didn't last forever. Just like the physical, like being scared from behind reminded me so much of how that interaction started, of the person ran up behind me and grabbed me. I had a panic attack at work. That was really not fun. Trying to like control my breathing and be like, "Oh, you're fine. You are fine. You're fine." Oh my god, that scared the shit out of me. And then I was like, fuck, am I gonna be like, you know, my head started spinning of being like, is this how I'm just gonna be? Like, people can't scare me anymore? Like, that's not fun. That's awful. I'm sorry. That's just how my brain was working. Of course, talking myself down, like, no, this is fresh. This is new. We're okay. It reminded me of when my friend came over after it happened and slept at my place with me. I was telling her, like, I know I'm gonna be okay. Keep going in and out of, like, being sad. And when I say being sad, like, crying. From crying to not crying. It's like I felt like the weight of them on my back still, and like their arms around me still. And in that moment at work last night when they scared me, like their hands like touching my shoulders, like I was just, it just like gave this like skin crawling sensation of like someone, that person on my back. Yeah. Ew, disgusting. The girl detective who was there kept being like, daijoubu, like, okay. I was like, yeah, because I mean, I'm crying. Like, I kept crying. My eyes were so puffy by the end. I'm surprised the next day they weren't like too bad. Usually if I cry for that long, like my eyes are just like swollen shut. Kept being like, are you okay? Like, you're okay, patting my back, whatever. And I was just like telling her, like, it was just so scary. Like the fear, oh my gosh. I went to the hospital, they kept being like, girl, your heart is insane. Because when we walked in the hospital, like every single new, that was also interesting to me, that every single new person I would meet at the police station, this goes for the hospital too, like no one told them prior who this bitch was, who am I, why is she here, kind of thing. And so I had to retell the story so many times. And like, I was so surprised because the ambulance people, like they made me go in the ambulance. I didn't have to go on the stretcher. They at first were like, get on. I was like, can I please not? Like, can I please stand up and walk over to the ambulance with you? And they're like, sure. We walk over and we get in, and the people are like, okay, so what happened? I was like, I won't tell you. Do I really gotta tell you? They're like, so where's all this from? Like, what'd you do? And I was like, okay, let me just tell the story again. Really got good at that Spark Note version of it. I was like, got tackled, I fell, or like, you know, got thrown on the ground, held me here, my hand here, their hand here, their hand here, ripped dress, do this, I rolled over, they run away. You know, like, I'm like, god damn, I gotta keep saying this. But I was so surprised at the hospital too. Like, I was like, can someone be my mom? Like, do I gotta do all this? Me complaining about being an adult. I was like, god damn. But we walked into the hospital and the girl was like, why are you so scared? And like, she said it kind of in like, guys, like I mentioned, I think every hospital visit I've had, they've all been a little dicky. And so the girl, the nurse, was like, I don't understand why you so like pin up, my girl. And the question was directed towards me, like she was speaking towards me, being like, your I think it's blood pressure. She's like, this guy is crazy numbers. And then the two detectives that were with me are like, they heard the way she talked to me. I don't know, I could see in the way their face were like, damn, girl. And they were like, ma'am, XYZ just happened to her. And she's like, oh, she's like, that's a I'm gonna go. And she just left. I was like, yeah. I was like, why did no one tell the bitches why I'm here? For the hospital though, it was them. They wanted to check out my shoulder and they made me do like, I guess an x-ray, but it was like pictures of it and then just making sure I'm good. I'm good. It's just gonna scab up and fall off, I'm sure, the like marks from the street. To me, this doesn't really change how I see Japan. I mean, it's bad people are everywhere. I've had scary interactions in America. Never quite like this, I would say, but I've had some pretty scary things. I've had men touch me when they shouldn't be touching me without permission. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, I've had scary things happen to me. I don't think it's Japan's fault. I think it's bad people's fault. I do think how things are handled, not that I'm saying they were bad or wrong or good or right, because I don't know how other places in the world handle something like this. Definitely, I mean, I'm gonna be more hyper aware. Obviously, I didn't want that to happen, and I'm sad that it did. I don't know. Those are just my initial thoughts on it, I guess. Canceled I had like plans originally for this weekend to hang out with friends, and I canceled those. I've definitely been at like sad points and like sleeping a little more than I usually do. And I told a lot of friends, and like I said, if you're a friend watching this and this is your first hearing about it and you feel like damn, why didn't you tell me? Girl, I told a lot of people, and it's just been a lot. So there's even like really good friends that normally this is something I'd tell you, but I've already told so many people and I just want to breathe. It didn't feel like a stalking situation. Like the person, like It doesn't feel like someone who knew me. It felt like I was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. It could have followed me off of the train maybe, but other than that, like, it doesn't feel like a social media thing or I'm being stalked at my home. I don't know. I have a gut feeling that it's just a sick person, sick in the head. Like, not saying that they need help. I'm like, girl, to be so blunt, die. Disgusting. That's how I feel about that. Let it be clear. Am I allowed to say that? I don't know. Yeah, but I'll be okay. Go in and out of waves, and I'm sure I will for a while. I'm gonna keep living. I'm not gonna stop myself. Like, I know I'm not in the wrong. I was wearing a dress, but like, fuck you, bitch. I'm still gonna wear my dresses. I'm still gonna wear my skirts. Like, it is not anything that I did wrong. Obviously, I think, I could be more aware of my surroundings. Okay, I've been not sitting. I just walked in the door. I have been thinking to myself this entire time, like, damn, I want to talk to someone about this. And obviously, I have friends, I have people I can talk to. I will, but I'm like in this weird, like, I need to focus on eating and then going back to this location, so I don't want to call someone for 2 seconds to then hang up on them. So I thought I would tell y'all. I could possibly delete this, but this has to do with the thing that happened to me very recently that I told y'all about, where I was essayed here in Japan, here in Tokyo. And I've been in contact with the police, like they've been going through the whole process you have to go through. I was told I had to come in today. They didn't tell me what for. Someone in my circle told me they possibly could have found him. They possibly just have more questions for you, etc. And it ended up being the latter, so I just went there for questioning even more. So I had to tell them what happened like upwards of like 8 to 10 times when I originally was there at the police station that night. I mean, I stayed at the police station for 10 hours in total, telling the story over and over again in different ways, and of course doing other things like DNA testing, etc. But today I had to tell the story again. They had questions for me of like details, and of course, I mean, they were very like, we know this is traumatic for us to like keep asking you. They even like gave me this like pamphlet of like, if I have questions, and like first page is talking in there about like, we know that us talking about this is painful and like you don't want to have to talk about it again, and we understand that. Been chatting with them all morning. I got there at 9 a.m. and it is now I believe 2, pretty much, almost 2 p.m. Sorry, my bangs are like getting in my eyeballs. Been talking to them for many hours now, and I thought I would just get to go home after, and I was planning on studying, doing my laundry, because I haven't had any time to do my laundry, and then doing my work later tonight for design. Possibly going to an onsen with 2 girlfriends. And the 2 girlfriends know I have something to do right now. One of them knows what I'm doing. The other, I haven't had time to tell her what happened and was planning to just tell her tonight while we go to the onsen. But now I'm like not sure because they told me I have an hour to eat lunch and then I have to come back. And in the elevator, the girl was telling me what I was gonna have to do after when I come back again, but I didn't really understand her. So unfortunately, I have to go back. All to say is the way I had to tell a story again, and the girl had to retype it out and like add extra details and was asking me just like very intimate details of what happened, and then I had to sign each paper after being read aloud the thing. You know, it's all procedure, of course, but it's just, of course, it's like a little traumatic having to relive it a billion times. And then there's pictures that they took of me that night that I explained how they did that. But I had to see the pictures for myself, and I had to like sign off on them and describe what was happening in each photo again and point to myself and be like, this is me when he did this and this is what's happening. It's just a lot of like shit that I'm like, bro, can y'all hold my hand at least? Like, goddamn. I was a little hesitant about the girl that's been on the phone with me to lead up to this thing that we're doing right now, because she's been very like on the phone. At least I told her, I don't know, I'm very bad with my Japanese on phone calls. I have found like phone calls really get me, I feel like they speak faster and like without the hand gestures and like all of that. I don't know. I just have noticed that every phone call I've taken, I always like have to be like repeat. What did you say? Versus in person, it goes a little smoother. So I don't know. I got there and she's like, "Hey, like I've been the girl you've been on the phone with a lot," and I'm like, I just know you're sick of me already. Also, there was an interpreter girl there too. Anyways, got to know them too in between talking. Okay, well, I don't know exactly what I needed to say, but I feel a little better after just venting that they made me spend my entire morning with them. I'm gonna eat some food and then head back to the station again. It is evening time, it is nighttime, and I want to go to the gym and I want to do just a little bit on my laptop. If we are following along, you may know that I tend to go late at night to both the gym and I'll use my laptop at the gym. It's been my workaround of not having Wi-Fi right now. The timing for me to head over in that direction, I have been avoiding the street that it happened on, obvious reasons. And I still can on my way to the gym, but I go like a street over from it. And it's just like the timing in which if I would have left earlier just now, it would have been the exact same time that it happened. And I don't know, I just didn't want to put myself through that. It was just something that came to mind and I was like, you know what, let's just avoid it altogether and give myself a little grace. So it was kind of waiting just now before I could actually head out. I just don't want to be in that vicinity at that exact same time. Anyways, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. I don't know if I mentioned yesterday, I felt just like anxiety ridden all day. My heart just would not slow down. It was beating so fast and it didn't chill out until I ate dinner with I don't know. I just kind of had to push through and be like, well, I'm in class, keep going. I don't know. I've just been noticing I've been dissociating a lot. Like I just will stare into space and not be thinking. And at the same time, I will be thinking. And again, not to make it all about what happened, but that's just my life right now. And I just keep thinking about it at random points in time. And it just like, ugh, that's how I feel. Friends will reach out and be like, how are you? You know, how are things going? How are you feeling? And I just keep telling everyone I'm so jumpy. I hate how jumpy I am. Like, I'll hear wind behind me. I'm like breaking my neck. But it's like so instinctual, like I can't help it. Like I say that like I literally, like every time I do it, I'm literally monologue in my head being like, bro, chill. Like either there's no one there, or if it is, it's literally in the middle of the day, or it's a woman, or like they're minding their own business and I'm like breaking my neck when I hear someone behind me. I just am scared all the time. It's literally the middle of the day. I feel like I could cry because I'm just scared. I'm on edge. I just hate how little sounds scare me. And I'm looking over my shoulder and I have my umbrella, as we can see. It's like sprinkling, so there's like slight sound of rain in my ears hitting the umbrella. And I keep wanting to look over my shoulder because I can't tell if it's the sound of the rain or sound of someone's footstep behind me. And it's literally the middle of the day. It's the middle of the day. I have to like breathe slow and like calm my heart rate down. I'll be okay, but as I probably have explained, I think I want to start just documenting every time I'm thinking stuff and just put it all together just to show my thoughts. I don't know, get it out maybe. Every day in some small way I think about it. My heart rate hurts and I hate that my thoughts wander into it. I hate how much I turn around. I've turned around like 8 times. Heart rate just goes up when I'm near home now. I hate it. Sorry, I look a bit insane and glossy. I'm so glad I could calm myself down, but someone on a run, a man, exercising just was behind me, and I was walking. Well, I'm really glossy, sorry. He was running for exercise, and I don't know if I ever told the exact story, but I heard when it happened, like footsteps behind me, and I nearly about pissed myself, like not exaggerating, like literally felt like I was about to piss. Because I turned around so fast, like my whole body. And I didn't even say "sumimasen," I said sorry in English. So I turned around and he definitely was like, "Girl, what the fuck?" Yeah. And then I had a little freak out, and by that I mean I just started like hyperventilating just a little bit and then calmed myself down. Headed to the gym to do work. But yeah. Hate that I'm like this, but I'm gonna do it. I thought about walking down the road that it happened on, and my heart started racing, and I was like, why would I do that to myself? Make myself have heart palpitations. I feel like it might be good for me to do it. I've technically walked down it with a friend, but by myself I haven't done that yet. So I don't know, I'm a little apprehensive. I'm scared. I'm just scared. I don't know. Just like walking past the street, like literally walking on where I was at, doesn't feel amazing. I'm gonna stop talking about it now. I'll see how sunny it is. Also, excuse that I'm sweating profusely, but I've gotten scared like 3 times. My heart has raced. A little boy ran behind me to, run in front of me. But it scared the shit out of me. There was 2 bodyguards, like security guards, patrolling the area, and they were just walking, and it just scared me. I do feel like this has affected the way I'm thinking about dating, and being in dating here is, I feel just more aware of my body, and like in the sense that letting down those walls, boundary and trust and all of that is just very mind gamey for me. Like the idea of being physical with someone I like right now is not it. But at the same time, look at my acne. But at the same time, I just want to hug. Like, I don't want to do anything more. I just want to hug. I don't want to be seen as a girl with a nice body, like, to someone I'm attracted to. Like, it reminds me, okay, guys, I don't know what this says about me. For 2 years straight, my very #1 song on Spotify is like, "We'll Never Have Sex." That's the title of it. Here, I'll put it on screen. This is one of my favorite songs, obviously. For 2 years straight, I listen to it all the time. I love that song. I just feel it deep in my soul. I just don't want, like, I think I have a nice body. And I like being, I don't know, physical attraction is very important in a relationship. And I know that. If that's all I feel like my partner sees me as, it just sucks ass. I don't know. I'm okay. Ugh. Seeing the guy was even helping me, and he scared me. Like trying not to cry. Honestly, I feel like I haven't felt like this. Like I've walked past the street so many times. I don't walk on it, but I walk past it because I have to. And just right now, it just like is welling up. Done for the day. I keep staring at my pimples. I did it again at work. A coworker like poked me from the behind, like being funny, and I screamed a little bit. I was like a yelp, but like not a normal Yelp. And I did tell him what happened. And I immediately, like, he could tell I, like, was freaked out. And I started, like, breathing heavy. And he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, I totally forgot. And my other coworker, she's newer. She used to work there, but now she's back. And she was like, what is happening? He was like, she has, like, just some, like, trauma stuff. So she gets scared. And I was, like, trying to, like, hold it in. And I start crying. But it was just me and them. They were sweet about it, but I did feel bad. I am feeling it. I had to go to the police station. I tried to not let it trigger me, but I feel like I'm choking on my tears again. Just, I hate how my heartbeat gets so fast when I'm near the area. I hate it. And I feel like I'm hyper aware of it right now because I just went to the police station, and because also I tried to ask if there was any updates, and I was like, I know I probably, you know, maybe y'all can't tell me, I don't know. They were like, yeah, we can't really tell you all the details. But they told me, and sorry, I don't know if this is rude or, you know, just my thought process of, because I'm not the native Japanese speaker that everyone is. I don't know if what they're telling me is like protocol to just like kind of, you know. Okay, basically they told me, they're like, I can't tell you everything, but this case, because it's so big, which I asked them, like, why is it big? And they were like, they didn't really answer. They said they're handing it off to another branch, which, sorry to be a downer Debbie, but to me that reads as like they maybe just are done with it, kind of, and are maybe saying that. But they said they're joining up with another branch to handle it. So they're like, in the future, if you get a call from the station, it will be from a different station probably, and different people. And for me, I mean, I've already given up hope that they're gonna find this person. It was a little reassuring that today they showed me a lot of security footage of myself, and they were like, you're here, right? I'm like, yes, that's me at this time, etc. But they just like told me, they're like, yeah, but don't worry, like, we promise you'll never see that man on that street again. For me, I'm like, how can you promise me that? Unless if you really know some other information that you're withholding that you can't tell me. But I just don't get why they would say, like, we promise you won't ever see that person again. Maybe to just be reassuring, to like tell me to chill, but I don't know. It's just made me even more hyper aware in this moment. I mean, I'm hyper aware like every day. Yeah. So I'm currently, well, I was gonna say I'm not scared per se, but just having a little bit of a heart rate sitch right now. I'm not even in the area where it happened, but I've been avoiding going this direction anymore when it's getting close to nighttime. As we can see, it's not nighttime right now. That's why I'm here. I'm out of breath a little bit from those stairs, but I've been avoiding going this way at night because this used to be the route I would go to the gym, but now I go in a more like well-lit area because usually I'm going to the gym a little later than this. But I was really excited that I could go this way, but I don't know why it's just like bringing up thoughts of like, damn, it just sucks that I like feel like I can't go this way anymore for my own protection. And it just sucks because I really do still think that Japan is relatively like way more safe feeling than in America. Like, I still do feel safe here, but I've just been so on guard. I don't know if I said, but I had another little spurt at work the other day. A coworker like tapped my shoulder from behind, and I like just started to have a little panic attack. So I hate that for me, but for the most part, I've been fine. I do think in a way it is affecting how I look at like new relationships. Specifically, there's been 2 guys that I was like kind of talking to, like just going on dates with and getting to know, but both of them, like, I ended up telling them at different points about what happened. And like, sounds bad, but I mean, I was kind of testing them to see how they would react to that. And not that they reacted poorly, it's just like I felt like not really seen or like wanted, I don't know, like it kind of showed me like what they were really thinking about, because I told them about it, but I don't know, like there wasn't really much effort on their end to maybe talk about it again, slash I felt like they both, I kind of told them like, hey, like I don't really want to be all that physical right now, and both kind of tried in a way. I mean, I'm good at saying no, and they were respectful. Like, I'm not saying they're bad people, but I just could tell, like, at least for me, like, not the person, at least just, that's how it felt for me. I don't know, I feel like I'm, like, justifying myself. I'm just telling you how I feel. But I do feel like it's made me a little more aware of men. Well, there's lots of people, but I've been avoiding leaving my house at and near the time that it happened, and I've now noticed how often I want to leave my house at that exact time. I don't know what it is about the universe doing that to me, reminding me. And today I was like, should I just like, I don't know, my heart is racing even talking about it, but I was like, should I just suck it up and like leave my house at that time? But sorry, I'm like, ugh. But I was like, no, like, why put myself through that if I don't need to? Like, I can wait 5 more minutes and leave my house a little later. So it's been happening often, especially when I want to go work out. I think to myself, like, oh, I want to leave now. And I look at the time, and it's when it happened. So maybe a month since it happened, and currently my heart is racing. I've been doing better, I would say. Every time, I know I've mentioned this, coming home and going to work out / do my graphic design work, every time just like there's like a little feeling. Specifically right now, I'm feeling very like kind of mad, kind of irritated. Not even freaking late at night, to be so candid. It's about 10:30 is when the incident happened. A little before that. Now it's about 20 minutes after, but I had to like wait, or not had to, but I wanted to wait and before I walked outside again, because I just don't want to be near that street when it was the time. And it just kind of pisses me off because like there's plenty of people outside walking in this area, and it just like takes me back to when it happened, and I'm just pissed that no one was around. Yeah. I think I want to add this into my collection of videos I've been taking. It's like how I'm feeling about everything after. Just today is one of those days I'm finally moving, productive things, and feeling better, but it just sucks. I just hate that I think about it. I just feel so like icky, like mad at myself that it takes up my time and like makes me feel nasty. And I hate that that's the word that I can only think of, because I'm like, why is someone else, a stranger that hurt me, why are they making me feel icky for something that they did that was icky? Like, maybe it's just lack of vocabulary to be able to describe it, but I don't know. It just sucks that I just spent a good part of my day like forcing myself to sleep it off, and therefore not doing much because I'm just sleeping. And I'm okay, like I feel better, a little better now, and I'm like doing things productive. I have things to look forward to. I have good friends. And then I hate that I keep wanting someone to be there. And I know I have my friends, I have people that I've been leaning on during this whole thing, but I'm like, I just want this Guys, like, I hate that I want someone romantic. I'll say it. Like, why do I want someone there who I'm interested in romantically? Why do I want a partner to be there? Why do I want someone who I can hug that isn't a friend? And if you watch my other vlogs, then you probably have seen me talk about that, like, I'm still dating and I haven't stopped going on dates with people. Like, I've had some friends be like, because of what happened, maybe you should take like a break. And I have seen it kind of affect how I've been dealing with some relationships. Like, I know that there was at least a few people I've talked to that I kind of ended things based on how they acted towards me, and not that they even acted towards me in any wrong way, but just because of what I'm going through currently. Like, it's a little too fast for me, it's a little too much. Like, the idea of being blunt, someone literally putting their pinky finger on me without me really wanting that, like, it just kind of turns me off in a way that, like, I just don't want to be with them. I've ended a few things because of feeling like they just want to be with me physically, and I don't even think there was anything wrong with them wanting to be with me physically, because I was showing signs of being attracted to them, even intellectually attracted to them, and I feel like that's obvious kind of next thing to explore. But for me, and this is kind of how my headspace has been, like, I don't want that. In that same fact, like, I'm just thinking how, like, it would be nice if someone was here with me that I was attracted to, but not, I don't want to, like, hook up. I just want them to be there. But I'm okay. Just seeing people walk down that street alone, it just makes, like, my stomach drop. And then I'm reminded of when the police told me, they're like, yeah, we can promise you that you'll never see that person on that street again. How are you gonna promise me that? I don't know. I think about that. I'm at the gym, but I nearly started crying just now because, oh my god, my heart rate, something beeped in here, just like automatically, I'm sure, and it scared the shit out of me. And then I had my headphones in, as I do, and my music's playing pretty loud right now because there's no one in here. I just thought of the worst case scenario, like that beep scared me, and I was like, what if someone's here and they, like, touch me from behind, either in a bad way, or them just, like, genuinely being like, hey, maybe, I don't know, I'm here for too long, it's an employee, something like that. And I just thought about how badly I would have freaked out. Oh my, I hate that. Like, I know that's just, like, thinking of worse things, and, like, that didn't happen and I'm okay, but I just know I would have freaked my shit. I would have screamed. I probably would have cried if they were actually trying to hurt me. Oh my god. But two, I was mainly thinking about someone, like, genuinely, like, a employee or something tapping me on the shoulder right now if my music was all the way loud, and me not knowing they were here would have freaked me out. I don't know, I'm just thinking about this because it's been now maybe a month and a half or 2 months now since it happened, which is wild. First off, that time has passed that fast. It's crazy because I'm like, how long am I gonna be like this, basically? Am I forever gonna be a little freaked out if someone touches me on the back without me knowing? It's just, like, very visual. I don't know if that's the word, but I can just see it very vividly in my head and, like, feel it still. I mentioned when it happened, like, for a few days I could, like, physically feel the person's body still on my back and my shoulders, and, like, if I think about it, in this case, I, like, imagine myself freaking out. Like, I just know I'd feel it. And, like, the few times I've talked about how I freaked out at work at a coworker touching my back and it, like, making me have a panic attack. Just, like, a moment, an instant, like, I could just feel it again and, like, feel their arms around my shoulders and my back, and it just, hate it. God, I'm trying not to cry. Like, every time I pass by the street where it happened, I just get, like, a pit in my stomach. I try to, like, avoid it, obviously, at all costs, but I have to pass by it to go home. And I saw a woman running, a foreign woman running, like, jogging for exercise, and she goes down the road, and I just, like, a pit in my stomach, because she's, like, I look down, and you can tell no one else is on that road. Big road, though, so, yeah, just got sad. I'm gonna try to not let it hinder my mood completely, but I did just get a call from the police about a certain situation. Girl is always so mean to me. I can get into the details later. I just hate that she's like that, because already this is such a hard situation for me, kind of an obvious. But then for the police officer that has to work with me is, like, not kind to me. and obviously this does not like me. And talking on the phone in Japanese is so much harder for me than talking in person. Feeling a bit better. I vented. I did message one person that knows about it specifically, and I didn't want to vent too much. Venting helps in a way, but at the same time I don't like to get too caught up in it and like make myself re-angry, you know? Yeah, and I'm like disappointed in myself. Why am I scared right now? Why am I scared right now? I'm like looking over my shoulder 24/7. I'm getting irritated because I feel like I'm doing so much better. My like day-to-day thinking is not on it as much as it has been. But like coming in the area, like I just feel like I'm like, this is how I feel. Okay, sorry. I'm like, am I crashing out? Am I having a moment? I am. I hate men. Why did anyone ever feel like they have the right to do anything to anyone else? It just... Damn it. I'm sad again, slash a little fearful. I'm wearing a dress, and yes, it's a shorter dress. I was wearing a dress, this one's even shorter. But I'm mentioning this because the policeman, I don't know if I've told the story, I may have, but the investigator, maybe I should say, she made a comment to me, and I'm not going to get into the whole story because maybe I just hold it, or I haven't, I don't care. Comment to me that was very inappropriate and random timing for her to tell me to stop wearing short skirts. Like as I was leaving the building for something I had to do at the police station, she randomly just was like, and don't wear short skirts. And I'm like, what? But I hate that comment's running through my head right now. I definitely am not on the same boat as victim blaming and saying that me wearing a certain thing allows for anyone to put their hands on me. It just sucks that I'm like, wow. It made me sad and angry all in one just now thinking about it, and it made me more self-conscious just now and like feels more scared because of that comment she made. Hate to say it, but I also did just imagine what would happen if I was attacked again. I hate that I have to think this way, but I was like, wow, I am so lucky that how the person tackled me, that they didn't tackle me to where like my face hit the ground, like, or my like, you know, front of my body hit the ground. So I was like, wow, if like you tackled me in these shoes that I'm wearing right now and my like knees hit the ground, they 100% would like bust. Like I would have bloody knees. You could like maybe knock me out if you tackled me forward with how tall these shoes are. Like I hate that I have to think like this. Like who has to think like this? Think about, oh, if someone's gonna tackle me. The fuck? Allowing myself to breathe. It's okay. I'm okay. I'm aware of my surroundings. I'm looking around and walking at a good pace. I'm not in heels. Oh, now I'm even more pissed and scared and like, irritated because now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, damn, I could be walking at this pace and looking around my surroundings and I could still get hurt. I was also walking home and it was like not this even late at night. I'm walking home even later at night. And neither. I wasn't asking for anything back then, doing anything wrong. Sorry. Sorry about my hair. I just got off the phone with the police. Again, with this girl asking me the same questions that we already talked about. And it's just so triggering. I'm like, how do you not realize that calling the person who was assaulted and talking about more details again about something I have now interviewed for and had so many meetings or whatever you want to call them about so many times with the same person, it just makes me sick. Like I just want to throw up now. I just want to throw up and I need to be a big girl and go do work and go do school. I can't sit here and feel sorry for myself and cry and feel disgusting. So I'm getting ready to go to the police station, tell the investigator for the 20 billionth time what happened, because she said she still needs more information. And I'm a little like, how could you need more information? And hours and hours giving you all the information. But yeah, apparently he is arrested from the phone call I received, and I have to come in today. She said it's going to only take 30 minutes, which I'm very, very skeptical and surprised about, because the last time I came, it was supposed to take, she said, like just a few hours. It ended up taking 8. I'm at this weird little thing right now where I'm like, what do I feel? What am I supposed to feel? Like, obviously, like I was just told the person who hurt me and wanted to hurt me even more than what they got to do was arrested, but also right now I just have a lot of questions. Like, I'm like, how did they find him and why did it take so long? And so were there actually cameras? And like, I guess I just don't understand. And then also, like, I am really happy this person is not out there able to hurt other people. It was like honestly my first thought. It just I just feel weird, I guess. And then of course, I hate that this is like my prerogative, but I'm just trying to calm myself down for the investigator who talks to me, because so far she's said some very mean things to me and has made me, I'm not gonna lie, just pretty upset throughout this whole thing. And I'm trying to like prepare myself to go into the police station and have a person that's supposed to be helping me kind of belittle me and say rude things, and I'm trying not to let it get to me. And especially today, I'm like, okay, maybe I should just go in a new foot and just pretend she's never said any of those mean things and just try and act kind, and like I don't know, start anew in my own head. Because I did think about telling her supervisor for a while, and I decided against it because I don't want to cause more trouble. I don't want to, or not that I've caused any trouble, but you know, I'm already in a situation where I don't want to even be here from the first place. The amount of times that they've asked me the question of like, did you ever expect you would be dealing with the police system here in Japan? And I'm like, why do you keep asking me that? Of course not. No, I don't want to be here. Like, I don't know, it's like this weird question of like, are you telling me I shouldn't have reached out to you? Like, that's how it feels. I don't know, like, I just feel weird. Especially on the phone call where she told me that the person was arrested. She also, in the same breath, and the same phone call, was able to tell me how if I don't start answering her phone calls promptly and using my Japan phone, that if I go to court, that there's a possibility that the person could be set free because I'm not using my phone properly. And I'm like, oh. Like, girl, like, I don't know. I don't know the court system. I don't know their system in general, period. So, yeah, maybe she's just doing her job, her due diligence, and she's trying to actually give me advice about, like, hey, and I know that I should be using my Japan phone number / phone better, because that is the right way to you know, us communicating with each other, not her using my American phone number. I don't know. Feels lack of compassion and empathy, in my opinion. But again, kind of like I just said, like I think I need to just go into this as cheerful, I guess is the word, as possible. Okay, that's good. I don't know. I've been this whole weekend wondering why I wouldn't cry. Even last night I was coming home from the gym and I was thinking to myself, like, damn, I've always said I've had like 3 really big fears in life, and I decided those fears kind of when I was younger, and kind of the really weirdly sad part is or like kind of creepy, I would say, is I've already had 2 of those happen to me. And then I was thinking to myself that kind of this is the third. My 3rd biggest fear in life is to get raped. He did not get to rape me, like he didn't get that far, but he wanted to, and that was his prerogative. And yeah, I don't want to feel sorry for myself. I don't want to feel sad, but at the same time I was like, I know I need to feel things. And I was just wondering to myself, why haven't I cried yet? Just in recent, like when I got that phone call, I had to go straight into work. I was actually walking to go to a coffee shop to log in to my laptop and do lots of work. I had like quite a lot on my plate for the day, and I was kind of freaking out because I was like, oh my god, I have to focus. And I was able to. I like choked up just a little bit when I went ahead and told 2 friends that would listen, had time, but then I had to lock in after that, and I was like, okay, like I'll feel this weekend. And I didn't feel anything this weekend. Yeah, I think I'll feel more things after getting more information, I'm gonna guess, because right now I'm just feeling a lot of confusion, and I'm glad to put a name to my weird feeling, and I think it's confusion. Like I'm sad, I'm upset, I'm like happy he's off the street, but I'm overall just a little confused and I want some answers. And I told quite a few people when this originally happened to me, and then I told so many people in my life that I got a little overwhelmed by how many people I told, because all the people very sweetly, and I'm not mad that they did this, I'm glad they did this, but they all kept checking in on me. But then I had so many people checking in on me, but every time someone would ask, it would remind me about it, and I'm like, ooh. Is on a whim last night, I'm laughing at myself because I'm like, girl, why'd you do that? But on a whim last night, I put on my private story in my private story, I think it's like 30 girlfriends. I was like, yay, I finished work. And then also I'm like, darn, I have to get up like so early to go to the police station. And I already put in there that I was like, I'm so tired and I really need to go to bed. So if you don't know, like if this is something I haven't told you about, like I don't have the brain power to tell you right now. Again, they're just being sweet. They're my girlfriends. A few that I did not tell when it all happened, like reached out and they're like, hey, when you do have the brain power, let me know. And I'm like, darn. I'm like, oh no, you caught me. I don't know, maybe subconsciously I want to tell them, and I do, and that's the whole reason I've been filming. All of this is, well, for multiple reasons. I'm not even gonna get into all the big mumbo jumbo about like why I think it's important that I document my thoughts and feelings and my experience with all of this, but one of them is that I want my friends to know everything, and sometimes I'm not the best at communicating everything that's going through my head with all of this, and for people who do want to know. Yeah. I wasn't sure if I was gonna say this right now or when I was gonna say this, but I just got done with the police, and by the time I edit this, like, pretty sure I'm not gonna post anything until things are complete and finished. But yeah, he is detained, he's arrested, which I think I talked about a little bit, but he assaulted 5 other girls, including myself. So I think I'm gonna have to tell y'all more at a different date. I'm a little like whirlwinded, I guess, from everything. So I'll have to say at another time, but I just wanted to say that, yeah, 5 other girls. And from the get-go, from the very jump, I kept asking, like, are there security cameras? Like, is there cameras? Roll the tape, like, and they were very weird about that question from the very start. But today I asked it again. I'm like, what happened with me, like specifically me, is there videotape? Is there footage? And I finally got a yes. So it's all on tape, and yeah, I'll get back to y'all when I'm not so. I'm trying to like talk myself down. It's okay. Nothing even happened. There was just a guy who was slightly drunk and he was stumbling around, and as I got closer, like I knew he's probably gonna keep stumbling. He did, so he got like slightly close to me, and it just like made my stomach drop. To which I will need to talk to y'all properly about my quote-unquote tea party with the policeman, how that went. And it just made me think of one thing that I'm like trying to remember to tell them in the future, because they already scheduled one more hangout with me to talk even more. Just to tell them, they asked me how do I feel after the situation, and like give them a breakdown of like how I've been doing for my statement for possibly court. and I mention all these things, but I never mention like the basically like panic attacks I've had since this has happened. Honestly, because I've been compartmentalizing everything and like pushing everything down and just getting past it and moving on. I haven't thought about that in a while, especially feeling like I was getting over it a bit. Asked the question of like, how am I? I was like, oh, well, I'm like, if you're gonna bring it up, you know, in the moment. Anyways, I just remember that because basically I almost had one just now and I had to chill out. I'm okay. He wasn't doing anything wrong. He was just being a drunk man walking. But it did make my heart drop into my stomach. Hi, it's been a minute. I have been just really busy per usual and just not sure of like my timing to be able to update y'all, especially because Jay's been in town and I haven't wanted to talk to the camera when they're at my apartment. And usually being at my apartment is the timing in which I talk to myself. I talk to y'all. And it's not like I'm hiding this information from them. I'm very much, I feel like, sharing my personal thoughts with them too. And that goes for like sharing my personal thoughts with any and all my friends that are up to date on this situation. I haven't had any like full-on panic attacks this month, I don't believe, from my memory. But I've had a lot of like heart palpitation moments. I don't know how else to explain it. Just like a very mini, I get very scared, and then it like passes and I'm able to like self-regulate pretty quickly. Oh, I feel bad. Jay a few times now accidentally scared me just because they have walked up behind me. I felt really bad and I kind of scare them as well because of the way that I like gasp. And obviously, I mean, we've talked about it, like the way that I like look at them when it happens, like you can tell that I'm like genuinely scared. Kind of more fear, I guess, in my eyes. I mean, I can feel it too when I get scared like that. There's like a certain emotion that comes out. Tonight, we were both working at the coffee shop and we couldn't sit next to each other because it was packed at the charging table. As they came up behind me, they were like, hey, and I was like a big old gasp and like looked behind really fast, and I could tell I scared them and like felt bad immediately. And they, I don't know, we ended up like both having a moment to like self-regulate, chill, and then I was like, let's go outside for a second. We chatted, and it's all good. And I immediately like, and this is why I'm talking about this, because the few times I've happened over the course of this, I'd say 2 months, of people accidentally coming up behind me, I immediately see who it is and I'm like not scared anymore. But I was telling Jay that I'm like, I won't be like this forever. And there's like no blame. Like they're like, you don't need to be sorry, obviously. And I don't think I need to be sorry. But I don't think I'll be like this forever. At least I hope not. So it's happening. Today is the first day that I touched the footage of me getting assaulted and having to go through it and pick through everything and put it. I actually think that editing it is gonna go. I don't think it's gonna take me a very long time to edit it, even though it's a lot of footage. But I know, and I knew that it's going to remake me sad a little bit. I don't know, part of me it's like, I think it's good to reflect, see where I was and see where I am now, because I don't think about it daily anymore. So that's good. But I'm headed to work, so I need to gear up and shut the fuck up. Yeah.